Igniting, inspiring, and evoking the fire within. You're listening to the What's Your Inspiration podcast with Fox Beyer.
Welcome to the What's Your Inspiration podcast. I'm Fox, and in this episode this week, I wanted to share something I thought it's very poignant, especially for the time that we're in this world, from two books. One that I'm currently reading and one that I mentioned in an episode with Nick Alley. The book that I'm currently reading is a book called Range by David Epstein. And in the book, it mentions a musician from back last century, Django Reinhardt. And he's got a great story of perseverance and pivoting, to use a word that's used often today. When Django was 12, a friend gave him a guitar, banjo guitar, and he became obsessed. He wandered Paris, improvising and bending and twisting songs in ways that were never heard. And at age 18, he was in a wagon that caught fire and exploded. As a result, half of Django's body was burned, and he was bedridden for a year and a half, and he lost the pinky and ring finger on the fret hand of his guitar. But he pivoted, and he taught himself how to play chords with a thumb and two fingers. So if you watch video of him on YouTube, you'll notice that the fret hand, the hand on the neck of the guitar, has three fingers, and he plays the tar out of the guitar. And funny, because of this, he invented a style of playing the guitar called gypsy jazz, which was adopted in many ways by musicians in future years, namely Jimi Hendrix. If you watch him play the Star-Spangled Banner at Woodstock in 1969, you'll see him use three fingers, and Django Reinhardt was a huge influence on Jimi Hendrix as a musician. And as a matter of fact, I didn't know this until I begun reading the book Range, but Jimmy carried around Django's records, with him during his career, and in fact named one of his bands, Jimmy did, the Band of Gypsies. And that book notes a lot of obstacles, and it goes back to a book, and these times, The Obstacle is the Way, from Matt Holliday, and I wanted to share some of my notes from that book as well. It has a great audio version, and Matt Holliday himself is the one that reads the audio version. It uses stories from history of people who have overcome things and succeeded in spite of those things. But he's really saying that if you want to have success and you want to grow and be great, you have to go through hardships and obstacles. So yes, the obstacle is the way, Matt Holliday. Here's some of my notes. 1, the mind is a place of reason, action, and will. 2, no one can take away your attitude, actions, or choices. 3, fray the line between the unlikely and the impossible. 4, focus on the goal, not the obstacle, and not the monsters that may or may not lie ahead. I'm going to say that again. It's, to me, very poignant. Focus on the goal, not the obstacle, nor the monsters that may or may not be ahead. Problems are precisely as bad as we think they are. And a little alliteration for the last one. Turn shit into sugar. That's The Obstacle is the Way by Matt Holliday. So 2 books. Range by David Epstein, I recommend. And The Obstacle is the Way by Matt Holliday. In the coming episode, December 1st, it will drop on Podbean and iTunes. It's an interview that I had with Donovan Russo, a recurring guest on the What's Your Inspiration podcast. He's coming out with a book, Stephen's War, which will be launched December the 7th. And you'll notice I've read the book, a very intriguing story of a man who's struggling overseas and at home and within himself. but a beautifully written novel by Donovan Russo. And that episode will drop on December 1st with his book coming out December the 7th. And that's it from here from now. I want you to all take good care.
You have been listening to the What's Your Inspiration podcast with Fox Beyer, because impact on each other is the greatest currency you could ever have.